Hey. Welcome back to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. We're doing it a little different. We're in our home studios because when we got to get an interview on the fly, we can do it from home. But again, I am one of your hosts, Cynthia Conte.
And I'm, of course, the jackass, the resident jackass, Jeandra LeBeauf. I'm at home in Los Angeles. Happy to be with my twin brain, even though we're long distance together, we still together. And we
It's
here.
all right. It's all right, girl. It's snowing and raining here in Las Vegas.
Woo! It's raining here. It's raining. Well, it's not raining right now, but it's been raining here too. It's cold. It's cold.
Oh, that means your plants are going to flourish. The urban garden will flourish.
You know, we gotta grow what we can to save us all, because the zombie apocalypse, we gotta know how to grow our food. We gotta be ready. We gotta be ready.
You guys, if you have never seen her urban garden, she has a whole YouTube thing. She has clips on it on her IG, and this thing is thriving. It's huge. From beginning of COVID, and now you grow everything.
Shit, now all I need now is like a chicken for these eggs, because baby, if I start getting me some eggs, I'm gonna be out on the street corners with them in a trench coat, like I got them eggs, I got them eggs, I got them eggs, I got them browns, I got them whites, I got them eggs. It's getting to that point.
Did you see that post I sent you yesterday that one major egg factory burned down? I'm like, really?
I'm telling you.
I mean, remember I told you, like, I don't know, beginning of last year, I would pay $12 for eggs, for brown eggs, because they're organic. And I was like, okay, they're expensive. And now I'm like, okay, they're really expensive, and even more because it's very sparse. You can't, seriously, it's almost like water during COVID. You couldn't find any.
Okay. But it's like, it's a choice. When you was paying the 12 for the eggs, it was a choice. Right. And you were getting organic eggs. Now, whatever random ass chicken that's laying eggs somewhere, those kind of eggs are $12. They're not organic. So, it's just too much. It's too expensive. So I need to grow some eggs, preferably.
Yeah, I co-sign that, Jay. I co-sign that. Okay, so we're doing a show. Usually, we had some other shows lined up, but this one is a big one because sadly we're not in New York, but it's all right because we can still do everything from home, and we get to watch the fights from the TV and cry our little tears out, being like, wow, this is another amazing show. But we're going to have such an incredible guest coming up very shortly. And Shadasia Green, she has such a great story. The Sweet Terminator, or what was it? Sweet the Terminator? I don't know.
The Sweet Terminator.
I love it. But I'm just gonna call her the body snatcher because this girl has 11 knockouts. Oh no, she's had 11 fights, all 10 knockouts. I haven't seen any female as of right now with that many knockout streak on their record. But that's no knock to anyone because this girl's power is scary. Clarissa Shields has given her. She said she's great in the ring. Amanda Serrano. She only spars with guys. She's been in right. I mean, like I said, Jeandra, we were talking about that. I would not want to get into the ring, even if I got paid. No, because we've seen her fights on YouTube. Oh my God. It's scary.
Man, listen, y'all have to go and watch her fight against, it was one from 3 years ago, and she knocked, Jessica Roberson was the girl's name that she fought. And I just watched that poor woman get folded up in the corner like an Adirondack chair. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, girl. Lay down, because that just sounded like a gunshot. It's like, oh, hell no.
God, we should do those little comics. Kapow!
She got folded up like summertime was over and it's time to put the patio furniture away. I'm like, oh yeah, this woman's a bad woman, and she's gonna be
and imagine she was just fighting in Mexico 2019, and somehow Jake Paul signed her. So we've already known Jake Paul is doing big things in boxing, and just in boxing in general, in the women's division. He's really stirred the pot. He's pissed people off. But someone said it. I saw it in a tweet. He is the smartest man in the room. He's fighting on ESPN against Tommy Fury. I don't know if that fight will ever happen, honestly. It's true. I mean,
I agree with you.
Tommy Fury didn't even show up to the face-off before for their talking shit face-off, but he showed up in the ring topless. Don't know why topless in the ring. I don't know. It's just so weird to me. It's so weird.
He kind of reminds me of like when the Kardashians first started getting popular, and people would be like, "Well, what the hell are they famous for? They got stuff now, but they didn't have stuff before." And I feel like now some of his celebrity is for the fact that he keeps running from Jake Paul. So it's almost like they got to keep the gag going. Like, no, I'm gonna fight you. No, I'm not. I'm gonna fight you. No, I'm not. So we'll see.
It's in the book. So there's bookies that are saying, is this fight going to actually happen? And sure enough, I know people are betting on it. But if there's money being thrown in Saudi Arabia, and look at he's fighting on ESPN. He was supposed to have a long time deal with Showtime. Don't know what happened with that. I think he still probably does. He fought on DAZN. He can make Jake Paul app, and people would freaking subscribe and watch his fight. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the next best thing, because why not? People know he brings money. He's a name. And look, his brother, I saw that he has an announcement this week. I saw it on Dana White Joe Rogan? I don't know. Maybe it's Dana. I don't know, but we'll see. But for, like I said, I just totally segued into something else. But for him to sign Shadasia Green, he signed Amanda Serrano. This is just the beginning. He sees something in Shadasia that many other promoters didn't see. Jake Paul has this eye for talent. It's just a different kind of eye that all the other people have not seen or not care to see. But I can't wait. But on that note, before we get to that, we have a Run It Back special, because Jeandra, Blair the Flair.
Girl,
he'll be running his mouth. Then Rick Murigan, cease and desist letter. To be fair, I believe that was the right thing to do on Rick's part, Virgil's part, because that slander, defamation, whatever it is, it was a whole lot of talking. And surprisingly, Blair was saying, if people don't know, that Virgil Ortiz Jr. was juicing up on the roids. He didn't say allegedly. He said basically he was. So there was a letter that Rick put out, and he put it out on the socials by his lawyer, and to recant his story. And it's back out. I sent you the video. Strangely enough, Blair deleted it from his IG, but it's never deleted in Twitter world. Your thoughts on that, Jeandra?
Yeah, Blair was saying that with his whole chest. And I was thinking about, has there been a time when a fighter or someone or their entity has sent out someone a cease and desist for saying things about them? So this could be starting a new precedent. Maybe some of the Twitter beefing will stop a little bit if people are starting to send out cease and desist. But, to be fair, for him to say that about Virgil is not right without any concrete evidence. So I respect, wanting to clear your name, but yeah, this is going to set an interesting precedent. I wonder how many other people are going to take that approach when someone gets to talking shit about them on social media. This could be, a little interesting rabbit hole to follow, but
it's interesting because Blair has been calling out people in the welterweight division, and we obviously know there's roadblocks in this division because the people we want fighting are not fighting. So yes, go ahead, call out people, say what you want, but you gotta be careful if you go down that slippery slope of these crazy allegations without actual backup, like evidence. You're going to have to get on your iPhone and say sorry, or if not, you're going to get fined, or, you can actually go to jail. Like, just be careful. But Blair, I know he's very flamboyant and very loud and brash, but there are other ways to get the fight. And he did say at the end of the video, he's like, but you know what? I still want the fight. And he's the best. So
you think they'll give it to him? You think they'll give it to him after all that? If Virgil will be like, yeah, I want to put a pounding on his ass for talking shit about me. It's kind of like when Canelo and Gennady, but sadly Canelo was tested positive, but they had such bad beef that it made the buildup just even more incredible to watch, to see like what kind of a pounding would one give, and that was one of the best fights we ever saw. So I don't know, but depending on Blair, I don't know. I mean, he just needs to fight. We need to see Virgil in against
Crawford, because that's the other segue of Golden Boy.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Golden Boy been busy this week with their name in the media.
Go on, Oscar. Go on, Oscar. They know what they're doing. Since no other promoter is wanting to make this fight with Crawford, Golden Boy is like, well, shit, I got some welterweights that we need weltering up here to get some more hardware. And he has Virgil Ortiz. And then I saw Alexis Rocha. He had a really nice knockout. Will he do very well against Crawford? That's not the fight I'm clamoring to see, but he's mandatory. I'm clamoring to see Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. But right now, he looks like he might be signed with Golden Boy for like maybe a 2-fight deal.
This is getting so good. This is turning into like a real soap opera, because it was all about going off on your own and being off your own boss. And I totally respect that. So if Crawford signs to Golden Boy and he has to enter, what are the terms of that deal exactly? Are they in partnership? Does he have to agree to X amount of fights? Why is BLK not into the picture? He did say, I think, during some of his press things that it was a 1-fight thing or something with BLK Prime, but this is really getting fascinating. I don't know, maybe it's like the Miguel Cotto effect. You know how Miguel Cotto has these great relationships? He'll do some over here. He did some stuff with when he fought Canelo, he fought on Showtime. He's worked with Bob, he's fought Floyd. Yeah. I don't know, maybe every fighter should be talking to Miguel Cotto, because that's somebody who knows how to get to the big fights without locking himself all the way down. So maybe there's some advice in there.
I think that, we're all kind of worried, like, oh shoot, why did Terrence Crawford lead Bob Arum? Maybe he could have gotten the fights, but he felt stuck. And maybe he just wasn't being moved on. Obviously that fight, that partnership is over. Then we saw him struggle of, okay, is BLK going to do this, or who's he going to fight now since he has no promoter? But now Terrence Crawford is probably, he's smart. He's figured it out. He's like, well, shit, I'm just going to go to probably every promoter, because Oscar has said it out loud. He's like, oh, why don't you come over to Golden Boy? I don't know how he would do. Well, we've tried the PBC and we've seen how the whole Errol Spence thing just went to shit. So who else do you go to? Golden Boy is probably one of the biggest ones right now that have fighters that are welterweights that are in the divisions that are mandatory. So that was probably the smartest move. And I believe maybe it's a partnership, as in co-promoters, and just like, you want my belt, I am pound for pound one of the greatest. And the Bernard Hopkins and what's his name, Oscar De La Hoya, 2 legends in their own right. They understand these are big fights that people want to see. They would love to see Terrence Crawford in with any one of their Golden Boy fighters. That's huge. That's huge.
And he keeps it stateside. It's very clear that he's not trying to do no business with Eddie Hearn, which is wise. It's kind of hard to establish yourself in America when your promoter is somewhere else. Not that it can't be done, but he said, look, for better or for worse, I'm going to partner with one of these United States promoters, and that's what it's going to be. So,
and I think it's great. Think about this. Oscar is a former fighter. He's a world champion. Eight divisions? I don't even remember. It's a lot of divisions, but he knows what he's doing. When Oscar is focused, he's gonna get shit done. And Oscar is very focused in 2023. I could see it. I've said it. We're putting it out there. Oscar and Holly, you'll be on our show.
Yeah,
it's happening
expeditiously.
Yes. We're in Vegas. I know you guys built a house in Vegas, so you're coming
Come on down the street.
So yeah, but that is I guess that's enough for our running back, because we're gonna have to get on to our guest. But before we bring on Shadasia, you know what? Actually, two more things for the run it back. We got spill a little tea too, and I just spilled a little tea on my computer here. Let me wipe it off. But 2 things. Ryan, with regards to Ryan Garcia and whether the Tank fight is moving forward, I see that Ryan's been training in Florida
for this tank fight that may or may not happen. And it makes me wonder if he moved to be working down there because it's a PBC thing and he trains with Goosen and the Goosens are a PBC family. And, I wonder if that's part of his training. Is he still going to have him in his corner? I don't know. That was a very interesting thing to me.
I didn't know that.
I think Ellie Seckback posted some footage of Ryan training down in Florida. So that could be real interesting.
And
then also the T Kell Brook.
You know what, Kell Brook, you need new friends. I don't care what you do in your own personal life. Honestly, you guys, that's the sad part. Everyone's got skeletons in their closet. I don't care. You can fight me all you want, but all y'all. So don't even go and judge. But Kell Brook's friend, whoever did that.
You are a shitty person. Whoever did that.
You are shitty. I'm like, you're an asshole.
You're a really shitty person. I'm not the best women's boxing show period does not advocate illicit drug use. Kell Brook's a grown ass man. Why would you film your friend doing illicit drugs or banned substances or whatever we want to call them?
I get it. Like, you're probably out of your mind. Of course, you think it's fun, but why did you post it?
Right.
Are you mad? Did you guys have a fallout? Really? You're gonna stoop that low to post it for his kids to see, his parents, his family, everyone in the world to see?
A mess.
Trash. You're
trash ass friends. That's worse than the friend that posted the video after Chavez Jr. got jacked in the hotel room. Y'all boxers need to work on your friendship skills.
Right.
Put the same work into those friendship skills that you put into road work, mid work,
right?
Speed heavy bag, because some of y'all are not good people readers. Work on that.
Or when you're taking money from when you're riding with them as their groupie and taking advantage of everything that you get, and then if you get kicked out of the group, you sound like a salty girl, like the girl that got broken up with. That's what it sounds like. All right, well,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. God, guys are worse than girls. Okay, so on that note, before we bring on our guest, we're going to take a break. And we are back to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. Our next guest, this is someone that Jeandra and I are very, very excited because this lady is making some noise in the super middleweight division, in the women's division. So again, like I said, Clarissa, Franchon, she's coming for you. Shadasia, the sweet Terminator Green.
Woo! Woo! Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We are very excited to see before we talked to you today, I went back and looked at some highlights, and you are a bad woman. And what a lot of people who aren't familiar with your journey, we'll get into talking about that, but it really is a pleasure to talk to you. And, where's the excitement level for fight night right now?
Oh, it's on 10. I'm fully prepared. I've had a brutal camp. I'm consistently training, and it gets from nerves, and I get nervous at first, but right now I'm just excited and ready to go. I'm ready to perform.
Think about this, your journey. You were just okay. When I was looking at your box track, you were just basically fighting in Mexico. 2019, you come in. Jake Paul puts you on his undercard in Arizona. And that, I believe that's the time he signed you to Most Valuable Promotions. Now you're fighting on another historical female bout for 2 undisputed titles, and you're on the undercard. This has to be a moment for you, Shadasia, because I know it is for Jeandra and I to witness women's history again.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a huge moment. Amanda Serrano it's like a mentor and an icon to me. I like Alicia Baumgartner, and they're leading the way along with Clarissa Shields and Katie Teller and everybody else who are opening doors for women's boxers such as myself. So at the point of when I was fighting in Mexico, I was just fighting whoever would get in the ring with me, because I've been one of the most avoided female fighters since my career started, so I'm gonna take full advantage of this opportunity and showcase my skills and make it a great night, and then get in the back, get dressed, and watch some of the best female fighters there is on the planet perform next after me.
Definitely. At the 168 division, it's always good to see. You've been there now, but it's good to see some fresh energy. We've talked to Franchon Crews-Dezurn many, many times, and we saw her fight Clarissa Shields, and Lady Hammer is out there. When you look at the 168-pound division, where do you think it's at in terms of talent level, and what would you like to do with the victory? Where would you like to take the division?
I think it's some talent in the 168 division. Giving credit to all the women who actually performed and fought for a title, especially the opponent that I have next. She was a unified champion, and I have nothing but respect for her. What I'm looking to do next is fight Franchon Crews. There's nobody else that I want to fight. Franchon Crews and myself have history, but she gets out there and she don't know who Shadasia Green is, and we was all on the USA team together, the Olympic team. Shields has always, said great things about me. I respect Shields. I feel like she's one of the fighters who will step in there and fight anybody. So that's my next thing, is to first of all secure this victory, do it, make a statement, and one day in the near future to fight Franchon Crews for the super middleweight undisputed championship.
Let's take it back real fast, because some people may never have seen you or even heard of you, or probably have never even watched women's boxing. So when they're going to tune in, they're like, oh, damn, she's a badass bitch, like in the ring. But yeah. Jake Paul has been making some moves, big boxing moves, especially in the women's division. How did he discover you? Did he personally call you, say, I want to sign you? Did he see tape? Did he happen to see a fight in person? What happened?
I started posting more on my Instagram because, I surround myself around other professional fighters who top tier, and they would, if I can't learn from the person next to me, then I need to surround myself around different people. So my little brother, Rajon Chance, he kept telling me, sis, you have to post more. You have to post. I'm like, I'm busy working. I don't got time to post. I don't stop and take videos. He like, you need it. Social media has a great influence on boxing. So I started posting videos, and I think Clarissa Shields did an interview, and she was saying that she paid me some respect and said that I was one of the most skillful female fighters that she had ever shared the ring with. So I'm not sure if my social media and her saying that, or I think Jake Paul might have been taking a look at me before that was even, because I realized they were following me. So I guess that me posting and I kept being victorious, and I just consistently stayed in the gym, stayed out of trouble, and focused on what I was doing. His team reached out and said that they wanted to give me an opportunity to perform on his platform. And after that, it just took off, it just took off from there. And I'm just filled with so much gratitude.
How does that change your approach to training now? Like you mentioned, you were fully into your training. You weren't stopping to take any videos. Do you feel by exposing yourself to a wider audience that you have to change elements of your training? Because, sparring videos and things like that are usually taboo, seeing them publicly. So how do you find that balance between keeping who you were originally, but still opening up yourself to a bigger audience and sharing more of what your story is?
Well, it's limited because, I train 3 and 4 times a day. Like even after I finish this, I'm going to train again. So I just pick and choose when the training winds down, and I might just take a quick video, but it's not something that I do every day. Even former world champions tell me, look, post every day. I can't. I'm too induced in my training. I'm too focused on what I'm doing. So I try to post at least once or twice a week. Fight week, I just been reposting, but sometimes I just get caught up in training and sparring that I try to just get some footage out there maybe once a week. But I don't look at it as somebody can scout me from, like as far as my opponents is concerned, because when you're in there with me, it's different. Like it's a different type of pressure. So I think that's the adjustment that I made. I train hard every single day, no matter what it is that I'm doing. Whatever it is that I'm doing, I go 150%.
Girl, you have the motto, be phenomenal or be forgotten. So Jeandra and I totally understand this whole social media thing, but you said something that they're not going to see social media and see you as a viable opponent, because yes, you are very, very different in the ring. So actually, if I saw you, I mean, Jeandra and I were very honest. We saw, I'm like, even if I was a professional, I would be deathly afraid to get in the ring and spar with you because you spar with men, and you were a wicked body puncher. I would say, I could call you the body snatcher.
I like that. I like.
Sorry, Dillian White, but I think she's the female body snatcher. But you are not only just phenomenal in boxing, but you're also phenomenal as a basketball player. How does one go from, you could have been WNBA, you could have gone completely professional in a whole different direction. Why did you choose our crazy, wicked, nasty sport?
It always leads into this. It started with my mom. My mom, before I was even old enough to know that I was going to college, she knew that she had plans for me to go to college. So I happened to, I was a All-American nominee, McDonald's All-American nominee, playing for Patterson Eastside. My freshman year, I played with Essence Carson, who's in the WNBA or was in the WNBA. And I hated the run. I really I would drop 40 points, but I let the opposing team score 42. So my coach, Edward Black, he would always I could have just scored 50. We could have won a game. He's like, you need to get your footwork right. You need to do this. You need to do that. So I wanted to take a sidestep without having to do that and running track. I went into a boxing gym, and that's where I met my first trainer, Barry Porter. And from there, I fell in love with it. And it was around the time where they were introducing the women's boxing program into the Olympics. And I'm in line, and I got letters of intent for college on my kitchen table, with college coaches sitting at my kitchen table, and my mother's calling my phone, and I'm nowhere to be found. I don't know how she found my trainer's number, but she called my trainer, and he kicked me out the gym. He said, go to school, get your education. When you come back, I'll still be here for you. So, I pouted around the corner, and I said, Mom, I don't want to go to college. I want to box. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. Listen, I'll make a deal with you. I'm like, what's your deal? She goes, go to school, play ball, get your education, bring me your degree back. And when you get back, you can have your life back. I don't care what you want to do. You can do it. So I'm like, you promise? She's like, yeah, I promise. So I upheld my deal. I went to school. We went to the Sweet 16. I traveled the world, met friends, educated myself. I got a degree, and I said, all right, cool. Here go to your degree. Now I'm going to go and do what I want to do. And I started boxing, and I made the USA team, and it went on from there.
When you went into the boxing gym, we talked to a lot of fighters like Michaela and Alicia, Sanisa. A lot of them say, it took some convincing to get into the boxing gym. It's really not a love at first sight thing for women when women enter the boxing gym. So what was that experience with you and Barry Porter? He already told you to come back. So when you did come back, was he like, hey, come on in?
It was home. And we had a small conversation, like where we wanted to take it, and that man ain't no joke. I mean, he's prepared me so well. Like everything that sometimes coaches get to teach you later on in life, he was teaching me back then. He schooled me. I was ready to turn pro then, because he never trained me like an amateur. So it was like love at first sight for me. I went in, and I didn't see a line of females who wanted to do it. My little brother even tried to train with me, and he couldn't do it. So, and it got to a point where I'm getting my nose busted, and guys just hit, like, if you don't hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. And the tables turned, and I started handling things and handling sparring like beautiful. So, I mean, it was love at first sight. Plus my grandfather did it. So he was a badass. He was well known around the city. So, and my mother got a mean right hand too. So I mean, like, it really does.
It's fun. It's really funny when you said, for basketball, you don't like to run. In boxing, you do a lot of running, a lot of running, a lot of conditioning. But I think what was kind of crazy is that you had to lose 50 pounds. 50 pounds. 50 pounds is not a whole lot. Like even 5 pounds is very, very hard. I'm still trying to lose my baby weight from my baby. But for you to go down, is it because for more opponents, or was it better for your body, or where was your coach trying to take you with that weight loss?
Well, when I first decided to turn pro, I started working with Aras Gist, who was him and Barry Porter were really tight. They came up in the same system. So he said to me, like, we not gonna turn pro at heavyweight. It's nothing there. And at that point, Clarissa Shields was reigning at 168, but she was gonna move down. So I saw that the audience took a liking to the lower divisions. So I thought about the lowest division that I could possibly get to if I was, I disciplined myself, and it was super middleweight. It was, super middleweight 168. So I actually got the opportunity to go out to Las Vegas with the Porters, Sean Porter and Kenny Porter. And everybody knows that Kenny Porter is a no nonsense guy. And they taught me out there. They taught me how to be professional. They gave me the opportunity to say, look, this is what you want to do. This is how you live as like a boxer. And it was hard. It was hard. I mean, the things that I used to eat and the stuff that I used to drink was completely taken away. So I actually went out to Las Vegas and lost most of my weight. And then I ended up moving back home. And I was in fighting range. So, I give a lot of credit to the Porters because they allowed me to they gave me that opportunity, and it allowed me to learn how to live as a professional fighter, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
With those lessons that they taught you, what are maybe 2 or 3 of the top lessons that they instilled in you that you think about every single day? What are probably the most critical things they told you?
The first critical thing I would say is what you do behind closed doors and what you're doing when nobody's watching will catch up to you. And the second thing is Kenny Porter used to always say, boxing don't love you. Boxing doesn't love nobody. So you got to boxing has to be your first priority or no priority. You can't cheat it. And those are some of the reasons why I work so hard. Like, I'd rather be the fighter that my coach has to kick out the gym. Like, wait, you're going to hurt yourself. You're doing too much. Not the fighter that says, the trader has to ask, did you run your miles this morning? You have to ask me, please tell me you only did 4 or 5 miles, because if not, I probably did 10. So now I fell in love with running. All the things that I hate, I fell in love with running. The foods that help me cut weight, I fell in love with that. I can make dinner and survive off of what, the calorie deficit that I need to cut the pounds that I need. I used to be so mean during fight week. And my team knows this. Like, when I used to travel, like when I first started losing weight and then I realized I had to cut still, they know not to talk to me. I get into the stewardess on a plane, like, over dumb stuff. But now I'm happy. I can do interviews and I know, I know my body very well. So I mean, I'm consistently gaining experience on how to be a perfect professional fighter. I'm striving for perfection, but if I fall just a little bit short, I still land on the moon. So that's where I'm at with it.
I love that quote. Well, this Saturday is going to be such a big test for you because you are fighting former world champion Elin Cederus. She's the one that was dethroned by Franchon Crews, who is now the undisputed queen. So once you obviously take care of her, you're going for all the marbles. Hopefully you can get that fight. I would hope that fight should be able to get made immediately, but we have to see how you do. You've never gone past 6 rounds. Do you anticipate that you can go the full distance, or you just know you're going to be able to knock them out because you got scary power?
I'm prepared for both. I go to distance in camp. I get beat up in camp. I take my losses in camp. I had a black eye a week ago. I'm prepared. My preparation starts in the gym. I've got a great team, of fighters and stablemates that really, really help prepare me. It's not just about me. I'll be the one that's performing in the ring, but if I didn't get the okay from my coaches, that's it. When I asked them, am I ready? And they like, yeah, you're ready. We wouldn't go with it if you weren't ready. So my preparation for this Elin, which is going to be a tough competitor, and I respect her. My preparation for her started a long time ago. I don't take any breaks. After I'm victorious Saturday, Monday, I'll be back in the gym. That's just how it is. I love it. I love the fear. I love the nervousness when I get out there and perform, and then, you got my mom calling me like, listen, you know what I raised, like, let's see. So mom is always pumping me up in my ear, but I'm humble about it. And I've prepared, and I respect Elin so much that I've prepared extremely well to put on a good show.
With that preparation for the fight, are you the type that likes to watch fights over and over and over and over again to see what they did? What is your non-physical approach to boxing? Are you a tape watcher?
I'm not a tape watcher because it just drives my nerves up the wall. Like I start thinking about different outcomes that I don't need to think about, and what if I get hit with this? What if I get hit with that? So I'll watch it maybe once, twice, 3, 4 the most. But I realize it plays a mental game on you. It's like mental. I let my coaches do that, and I focused on what it is that I do well. And I'm a well-rounded fighter. Everybody, it's like the Tank thing. You know, Tank is known for his power, but if you look at Tank when he fought Isaac Cruz, he boxed beautifully. So I have so many tools in my bag, and I'm glad the world is catching a grip of my power. But if it turns into a boxing match, I can win it. If it turns into an inside game, I can win it. And I'm really excited and looking forward to Aline bringing out the best in me so that the world can see how, you know, what I have underneath my wing.
And since now you have Jake Paul and then also Amanda Serrano, it's your stable, or it's your teammate basically. What's the best, or excuse me, what's the best advice that both have given you, Jake and Amanda?
Well, Amanda always told me, you know, when I was up and coming, and we've met. She's, you know, she gave me tickets to a fight, and we have a coach in common. Her coach, one of her coaches, brings sparring partners to spar, and I've sparred some of his top fighters. And he would always go back and I guess like show videos or talk. And Amanda just hit me up one day and said, "Listen, you're gonna be great. Like you're amazing. You're taking over the sport." And I couldn't believe it. Like I'm talking to a mentor and an icon, somebody who I thought beat Katie Teller. I had beat Katie Teller, like somebody who's been in this for so long and never gave up. She never gave up. She's thriving, and she deserves every immense amount of, you know, respect and success that she has. She just told me to keep going, you know, because we get those times. Like I had it really rough. Nothing was ever given. Like I didn't take the easy route, you know. I'm ranked number 1 in the WBC because I had to go out there and chase it, and I had to go and take fights and not pay and just work and hoping and wishing and leading with faith that my opportunity would come. And she just told me to stay consistent, stay in the gym, don't disappear. And I did that, you know. And the same thing with Jake Paul, you know, he told me to rise, you know, it basically, this is your moment, rise, perform under the lights. And that's what I'm gonna do Saturday night.
Working with that team, particularly with Jake Paul, what's something that you've now learned about him that you think the general public doesn't realize about his commitment to boxing and being a promoter? Is there something in particular about him that strikes you?
Absolutely. He's selfless. And what I mean by that is he's taken his success and his platform to help others, especially where it's needed. And that's in women's boxing. You know, he's raising the stakes. He got Amanda Serrano and Katie Teller their biggest payday ever that any woman has seen. So he's using his ability and his star power to bring others and help out and get them to a level of success that, you know, could possibly be near and dear to where he's at. And I think that's one of the most amazing things that another human being can do. You know, me, like I try to be a pillar of my community. Just because, you know, I'm getting some success doesn't mean I can't look back and grab the next person and lift them up. That's what it's about. Like if I die today or tomorrow, I want people at my funeral telling stories about how I was able to help them with no reward. And that's what Jake is doing, you know, and I'm honored, and I have so much gratification for him for this opportunity, because without him, I probably wouldn't have this opportunity as of now. So that's what I learned about Jake. You know, he's a great person.
And just think, if you didn't post regularly for the one post a day, you might not be sitting here. You might not be fighting one of the biggest fights of your career to see where you're going to land in women's boxing history. But we're really excited. We're so excited to see you in the ring.
I really do appreciate that. You know, and I've watched quite a few times where you guys had you know, those some other fighters on there, and I thought it was awesome, just like how cool y'all are, and y'all dig kind of deep, and I like that, you know. And I was saying to myself, like, one day So I remember seeing y'all, and I seen the interview with Franchon too. But I remember seeing like one day, someday, So, and look, manifestation. Here we are. I'm honored.
Oh, well then perfect segue, don't make us, little cockles, we all in it together. We all in it together.
Absolutely.
We have this segment called Talk Your Shit. As you know, if you've seen the show, and you can talk your shit to anybody you want to the world, to the boxing industry, to Franchon, because you come in for it, because you will be the mandatory with the victory over Elin Cedero. So Shadasia Green, go on, talk your shit.
I'm so humble, but I guess I'll participate. Well, so, tune in February 4th as I take on Elin Cederos. I will be victorious. And then, Franchon, I'm coming for you. We need to make it happen sometime in the near future and see who's the best and see if you remember this body shot. Straight up.
Period.
Period. Yeah, right. One quick question. So you see a lot of the women moving up and down in weight. You're looking at Natasha Jonas and Harper. They moved up 2 divisions to fight for belts. Clarissa Shields has moved up and down in weight. Do you think you'd go down to 160, even maybe 154?
154 is tough, but I've always looked at, like, with this weight cut, I think I could possibly go down to 160, but it would have to be for a great take, like I said, Clarissa Shields, much respect to her. She's doing a damn thing. I would love to, after I conquer the 168 super middleweight division, to be in talks with her about a future matchup, because who doesn't want to test their skills against the GOAT? She is that, she's earned that right. So I probably will go down. I'm in the middle, I guess. We can meet in the middle, and that, I think that's a fight of the decade. Honestly, that'll be a super matchup. But I can't overlook the opponents that I have this Saturday and then in the future, and that's something I would consider later on down the line. But I'm looking forward to making the best matches, the best fighting the best, and getting in there and putting on the show for the boxing fans worldwide.
Amen to that. Jeandra, this is one of the best guests. You're so humble, Shadasia, and you really just kind of made us tear up, because I didn't know you've seen. We don't know who watches our show. We just do what we love. We talk our shit.
Yeah, I watch everything, and I love it.
Oh, thank you.
The next time you're in Vegas, please, we shoot out of Vegas, so please, we'd love to get you on the Brown Table Talk. And
heck yeah.
We talk. We get in it.
I'll reach out to you guys. It will be an honor. I just appreciate you wanting to interview me and bringing me on this platform and showing some light on the future 168 super middleweight undisputed world champion, Shadasia Sweets the Terminator Green.
Period.
Like they say,
terminate them with a smile.
Always.
There you go. All right, Shadasia. Well, best of luck to you this Saturday. She's going to be on a mega massive women's card in New York City. Ooh, you're right there, right next door to you, basically, in Jersey. You're going to be at the Hulu Theater. Make sure you guys tune in on DAZN. Amanda Serrano's taking on Erica Cruz. Baumgartner's go. She's looking to become the undisputed, finally undisputed. We're going to have 2 undisputed queens that night. Shadasia is looking to the best that she can against Cederos and Franchon. She's coming for you.
Guys, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for stopping. Take care. Have a wonderful fight. Good luck to you.